Hey everyone, it is Monday, February 19th, 2018, and it's time to go to work on music. It's been a fantastic day. I'm in a really good place and excited for a productive session as usual. Gonna hit some online classes, update you guys with what I'm doing on that front. Going to get in a quick guitar practice, probably we'll see how I'm doing on time. Then going to do some light drum work today, focusing on transcribing a couple bridge section parts. The bridge of this tune I'm working on right now has three different sections basically, and one of them is probably not going to have any acoustic drums, although I might do like a background type of thing. But two of them are going to have some possibly technical drum parts. So I'm going to work on that a little bit. And then I'm going to listen to all the solo takes, guitar solo takes for the same song that I did last night, and hopefully improve upon those, or ideally find one that's already amazing from last night. That would be huge. But I'm going to rework my process a little bit, try something fresh and different today as far as the approach goes to tracking that solo, if needed, and hopefully that will give me the result I want, just in case the takes from last night weren't amazing. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in as always. Let me know if you have any thoughts or questions as we go, and I will update you guys in a few with what I accomplish. Okay, overall good first half of the day. The last few weeks I've just had a lot of outside things impacting my music time, and that's definitely my fault. I'm choosing all those things. And I'm excited to buckle down a little more and start to shut that stuff out a little bit and really capitalize on the next like 5, 6 weeks that I have here and just go deep. I got into the online class front. Main takeaways from that today: I'm going through the online musician ebook, and which is included in the online musician class. And the big takeaway from that is just make sure that you really like your music. Make the music that you, if you heard it, would be like, oh yes, thank goodness someone finally made this, you know? Because that helps you kind of have a unique twist, which is important for standing out. And also just makes sure that it is listenable in the sense that people want to engage with it. Like, not all musical styles strive to be listenable in the sense of like pop music or like John Mayer type stuff. But that doesn't mean that there isn't an audience that doesn't want to engage with the music. But if you're not making music that at least some other people really do want to hear and engage with and hear over and over again, it's going to be difficult to build a business around that. If all you want to do is express yourself, I think that's sort of a different goal. And then, that may resonate with other people, it may not. But it can be tricky as an artist because a lot of times I think our job is just to try to be as honest about our vision as possible and not really think about the listener and the end consumer. But if you self-produce like I do, or if you're a producer in general, then a lot of your job is thinking about the listener and the market and thinking like, okay, are we getting something that's this artist's best work, and are we getting something that's actually gonna impact people? It's actually gonna move people. And that's a sort of a line that's being blurred for me a little bit right now, and I'm just experimenting with that, and I'll let you know how it goes. Then I jumped into a light guitar practice, just more note name memorization, more minor pentatonic blues scale stuff. I changed keys today. I've been working only in the key of A for my minor pentatonic stuff. I changed to G, and it was really cool actually to get a different vibe of how that key is a little darker to me, but that's only in reference to A, so fascinating. And then the note name memorization thing, I did sit down for a period in my guitar work and just tried to like memorize note names sort of rote. And there's an interesting exercise in Joe Satriani's book Guitar Secrets, which certainly seems like it would work for a lot of people, and it just wasn't resonating with me tremendously. Um, so I had a teacher who had me memorize octave shapes, which were very useful, and that's just memorizing in each given position on the neck where are the octave relationships to whatever note you're looking at. So like C, for example, there's one octave shape, then the next octave shape up, then the next. What I'm doing right now is I'm actually just improvising on a scale that I like, and then saying the note names in my head while I play that scale, and I've stuck with the same scale. I think I'm doing E Mixolydian right now. And yeah, there's only 7 notes, but I'm learning to map those 7 notes all across the fretboard, and I'm also learning to do it in a musical way. So it keeps it fun, it keeps it engaging, and I recently learned that one of the best states of consciousness to be in for optimal learning is when you're enjoying what you're doing, you're having fun with it. It's like, the irony is we often learn best when we don't really think we're learning at all. Something to ponder. That came from Jim Quick, by the way. If you know who that is, it's worth a search online if you're into that kind of stuff. From there, I got into the Mixing Secrets book, which I strongly recommend if you mix or record or produce any of your own stuff. If you don't, it might not be that useful to you, but it's still interesting. And I was just building my reference list, which is a list of songs that I listen to when I'm mixing my work, to make sure that I stay as objective as possible and that I have a reference point to aim towards. So I'm not just mixing my stuff in a vacuum and then saying like, okay, great, it sounds good to me today, but then you take it out in the world and it doesn't hold up against other commercially produced tracks. So it's just a tool. It's sort of like flying an airplane using the instruments instead of using your eyes and just looking out in the sky. It gives you a different point of view, a different type of objectivity. Not that that's the only way you should mix, but it is a really powerful tool for commercial grade quality. Then I jumped on the drums, started fleshing out the bridge drum part, which is going to be really fun and cool. I'm going to do sort of an asymmetrical kind of weird playing with time kind of thing, which I haven't really done on record before, so I'm excited. I think it's going to be cool, and I'm having fun with it. So I'm going to take a break, have some food, and then dive back into the guitar solo portion of the session in a few. Okay, overall good second half of the day. Listened back to the guitar takes from yesterday, and there was a handful of really good ones. There weren't any that really stood out on first listen. They all had cool moments, but there wasn't one start to finish that was just like, wow, that's incredible. And that's kind of what I expected. So I rebuilt the solo from scratch using the metronome, slowing things way down as I've been doing with the drum work I've been doing, and just built it up using my process of really counting every note very intentionally and really forcing myself to stay in the moment that way, because I've found that's a really good way to fill my mind with so much that there's no room for the thoughts of like, oh wow, that was really good, don't mess up the rest of the solo now. Or wow, that didn't sound that great, this take's probably not worth anything, you should just stop. I'd like to push those thoughts out of my mind. Like if they come up, it's no big deal, but it's really nice for me to have almost like a mantra. That's how I use the counting of every beat, to just say, okay, I'm back on this note now, I'm now in this moment, now I'm in this moment, now I'm in this moment, just to make sure that I'm staying present. From what I've heard from the great masters I've talked to about this, that's really where you get the best stuff, is really being in the moment, and I've found that the mantra is really good for me for that, just forcing myself to focus on specific things. I also think that in terms of the big picture, that's good for me because it forces me just to execute my process, and then I can sort of allow the rest of the magic to happen, and sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't, and it's a little easier for me to be with the uncertainty of music making and the creative process and the random elements of it, if I feel like and know, okay, I'm controlling all the controllables. I'm doing everything in my power to make this great. And then the rest is just like raw perseverance, doing enough takes to get lucky, and just maximizing the odds that I'm going to get lucky quickly, if that makes sense. So I don't know if we can ever remove the element of random chance from things like distortion, and maybe there's someone out there who has just infinite control. But it just seems like every moment is different. Every stroke of the string is slightly different. That's what makes it human and not just machine-like, when you hear a great player. So I'm just steadily making my peace with that and accepting it and learning to what the best way for me is to work inside of how I conceptualize the creative process. And if you guys have any thoughts on that, I'm really, really open to that and really curious. I also lost about 30 minutes. Not lost, but I just allowed myself to get distracted by other non-musical things. And I still got some really good takes in by the end of the day after I sped everything up. But I started to think like, I think if I'm really going to do this life that I'm growing into right now and become the person I want to become and have the life that I want and the role that I want music to play in that life, if I'm going to have all that stuff, and I know I'm being a little vague, but if I'm going to have all that, I'm not sure that the person that I am today and that I've been the last few years is going to be enough to get me there. And it was sort of like a cold realization of just like, wow, I think I might just need to become a different person in order to get this record done on time and like hit the deadlines that I've set for myself, because I'm already 2 weeks past the deadline now on this tune. And, losing 2 weeks is a big deal. And I think I can make it up theoretically. I don't know how stressful that's going to be or how much it's going to allow me to enjoy my work. But I also don't know until I try. And I have pushed myself a little too hard a few times in the last couple months, and I've regretted that and felt like, you know what, I just want to enjoy it. It's okay if it takes a few more months, etc. But now I'm wondering, like, maybe I can just alter the person I am and just become someone else and become the type of person who's just laser focused on the goal. I can just crush this stuff without giving in to some of the discomfort that comes with that. So I'm going to experiment with that, and I'll let you guys know how that goes. Hope you guys are out there grinding towards your goals, enjoying the process. That's what I'm out here doing, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for more. Can't wait.